engage into you. Then organization need to compensate that particular mind-based needs also of the employees. Right? Those are the non-financial or non-compensation elements given from your organization. Later we will discuss these things, but however, you have to understand when we are going to do some compensation in international management, it is very difficult, or it's you need to think more political, economical, social aspects, and also you need to consider about the knowledge of employment and taxation law, customs, environment, and employment practices of the many foreign countries. And also you need to consider about the currency fluctuation and the inflation of those companies, how that particular inflation impact compensation of the employees, when and why you need to provide some allowances to the those employees, and there are many things. And also you need to think about political, economic, and social conditions also. Political, economic, and social conditions also. You already learned those are because the external environment. In simply, we can say you have to understand internal environment of the organization as well as elements of the external environmental of that particular country to do this particular expected compensation. Okay. What are the objectives of this particular session? Examine the complexities that arise when firms move from compensation at the domestic level to compensation in an international context. We will think about the organization having a parent company or the mother company in Sri Lanka, but you are having a subsidiaries in India, but you can't be paid the similar salary to Indian employees, what you are actually paying in Sri Lanka. You will think many factors just before I mentioned tax policies, cultural issues, economic situation, current fluctuation of currency value, and it's detail the key components of international compensation, outline the three main approaches to international compensation and the advantages and disadvantages of each approach, examine the special problems areas of taxation, valid international living cost data, and the problem of managing TCN compensation, examine the recent development and global compensation issues. Actually, every country has some minimum wage regulation. Okay, you will to follow those rules. You will to decide. You will to consider that particular minimum wage rules of the every countries. Because why governments are enforced or implement that kind of the policy? Because the employers would like to pay less salary for their employees. At least you will to provide good salary or very fair salary to your employees that need to be reasonable to maintain good life, reasonable life in the society. In this particular session, sorry, in the beginning of that IHR managers, IHR management, we discussed the IHR managers are engaged in more HR activities than the domestic or local HR managers. Manage more activities from a broader perspective, be more involved in the lives of their far-flung employees, balance the needs of PCN, HCN, and TCNs, control exposure to financial and political risk, and be increasingly aware of and responsive to host country and regional influences. You will recall beginning of this particular international human resource management, we explained that international human resource manager need to engage more HRM activities than the local or domestic HRM. And also you need to interfere with your expected or your other employees who is working in the subsidiaries, personal life issues. And also you need to be consider percentage or balance between the parent country nation, host country nation, and third country nation. Nationals or nationals, sorry, parent country nationals, host country nationals, and third country nationals. Actually, we have discussed what does mean by parent country national, host country nationals, and third country nationals. Okay. Control exposure to financial and political risk and be increasingly aware of and responsive to host country and regional. When you're discussing about the compensation, there are two types of the compensation method, direct and indirect. Direct and what are direct compensation methods? Wages and salaries. What is the difference between wages and salaries? Anyone can say? This is wages, this is salaries. Please. Anyone can say? Difference between wages and salaries.
Wages depends on the time that he spent on the work, and the salary is a definite amount.
Yeah. Definition. Actually, wages are paid for the temporary employees or the person who is engaging with the production of the particular item. Easily we can be calculated his labor value by using how many hours he or she worked, or how many units he or she produced. But salaries, we are paying for the very difficult to calculate that particular employee's value by using units or the hours, etc. Then we are paying salaries. I think you already learned or you have learned about the accountancy also. Therefore, wages we are write off from the trade account, and salaries we are write off from the profit and loss account. We consider salaries as a overhead cost. Overhead cost. And also, other than this particular direct wages and salaries, we are paying our employees by using incentives, bonuses, commissions, allowances, and etc. Sometimes you also get incentives, production incentives, sales incentives, and bonus. End of the every year, you may get bonus. So some organizations are paying twice a year. Commissions, sales commissions. These everything are related with the cash or financial aspects. Wages and salaries, rupees, incentives, rupees, bonuses, rupees, commissions are based on the rupees, rupee value. But however, indirect compensation also there, recognitions. They are getting recognition from your organization. For example, you are getting promotions. Promotion means what? Your organization recognize your contribution to the organization. Recognition for. Or you are getting some award. Or you are getting some annual foreign trip. That's a recognition. You are getting recognition from your organization. Rewarding jobs. some rewards are, you are able to get some rewards from the organizations. Best employee or something. What are other things? Organizations, work environment, flexible work hours. What does mean by flexible work hours? And one can say, what does mean by flexible working hours? Flexible work hours. Hello? Flex time, flexible work hours. Do you have any idea about this one? Anyone can say, Sarda? Vinma Ratnasuri. Do you have any idea about flexible work hours?
So it means we can give some flexible working hours
Yeah.
when it's considered about the mother, working mother. So
Yes.
we can give free time for the mother
Yes.
and we can adjust to her family works and working time according to
Yeah.
her family requirements.
Yeah, thank you. Very good. Because we need to provide some flexible or flex time to our employees to balance work and life-related activities. As you have mentioned, the mother was having a baby, then we are better to provide some time to those employees to engage in that particular activities. Flexible working hours, flexible work hours, or flex time. That means you need to be report to workplace at 8:30, then you need to work until 4:30. But based on some reasons, we are given some facility to you to report our workplace at 10 o'clock. But you need to work 8 hours. You need to work 8 hours period of the company. But however, you can be report to workplace at 10 a.m. That is instead of 8:30, 1.5 hours. You can use that 1.5 hours to sleep or to visit your kids' school or visit your parents, visit hospital or whatever. That's we call flexible work hours. Why we are worrying about this? Because our employees are not happy or our employees are unable to engage to their personal work. Are we able to expect good contribution from that particular employees? Difficult. You will think about yourself. You need to visit your parents today because your father admitted to hospital, but you don't have time. So you need to work from 8:30 to 4:30. Yeah. But if you allow our employees to visit or do those personal related activities within work time, then they may be happy about your organization. Actually, we can be use different methods to maintain this flexible work hours. For example, I think before I have mentioned this one, compressed week. Compressed week. That means each week we need to work 40 hours. 40 hours. 8 hours per day, then we need to work 5 days, then 40 hours. Plus some organizations are working a half day on Saturday. Let me calculate your working hours considering as 40 hours. Now you need to work 5 hours, 5 days, per 8 hours per day. Now you can be proposed, no, you can be work 10 hours per day. Then he or she needs to work only 4 days to cover up that 40 hours. Then 1 day off. That's another method to maintain this flexible work system or flexible work method. Then you can use different methods to maintaining this flexible work methods or flexible work system in your organization. Work environment also most important. If that particular work environment is noisy, very hot, no ventilations and everything, then your employees are not happy about your organization. You provide very fair environment to them. Actually, these days we are discussing about the joyful culture of the organization. Organizational support, that one also most important. Organization support. Without your organization support, you are unable to get or you are unable to complete your work to get good outcome. Therefore, your manager's support, your supervisor's support, your subordinate support is most important. That support is depending on different factors. Sometimes it's based on the raw materials, sometimes based on the help, sometimes based on the guidance or whatever. But however, your compensation, you would think about your organization compensation also. You can be identified based on these two ways, directly and indirectly. What are the compensations component of the organization? Pay for work and performance. Pay for work and you are eligible to get financial benefits to your work period, work days, work hours. And sometimes some organizations are given more financial benefits if you are achieved good assigned targets or based on your performance, based on your outcomes. Pay for time not work. Saturday, Sunday, you are eligible to get the salaries, wages, not wages, salaries. Even you not work, you are able to get salaries for the holidays and Saturday and Sunday. Loss of job income continuation. Sometimes you may loss of job income based on, let me say, dismiss, the organization dismiss you. But they are going to pay half of the salary until finish that particular disciplinary inquiry or something. Disability income continuation. When you face some injuries or some kind of accident, then your organization would like to pay some portion of the money to spouse family income continuation. You would think about the ETF, EPF, pensions, and everything. Deferred income. That's deferred income means you are eligible to get that particular income today, but organization is postpone that payment to until you retire. Deferred income. Employee provident, pensions, and etc. Health accident liability protection. Some organizations are providing insurance facilities to you. There are some organizations are providing some medical cost of the medical checkup, annual medical checkup to the employees. Income equivalent payment. Income equivalent payments, we would think about cost of living, COLA, cost of living allowances. Then you can see your compensation system is just not only based on your wages and salaries, that is including different components from your organization. In here, you can see some small description about those compensation dimensions. Pay for work and performance includes money that is provided in the short term, weekly, monthly, annual bonus awards, and the permits employees to pay for and contract for the payment of desired goods and services. Pay for time not work, holidays, longer paid vacations, loss of job continuation, temporary layoff, termination. For example, in developed countries, you should have to get your leaves. When you are getting your leaves, they are paying some money for that. In Sri Lanka, it's other way. We are buying your leaves. Or when you are working on your leave days, we are paying some money. But in the developed country, they are forced you to get those leaves, annual leaves. Then they are paying some money. Loss of job continuation, temporary layoff, termination. Disability income continuation, sick leave or other health-related reasons. Deferred income, employer provided a program for income continuation after retirement. Spouse income continuation, life insurance plans, pension plans, health accident and liability protection, insurance plans, income equivalent payment, perks with other benefits. Okay. Cost of living and etc. See, therefore, when we are discussing, when we need to decide what are the compensation dimensions of each country, is depending on many factors. Many factors. But basically, these are the most important component of the compensation system, including allowances. What are the non-compensation systems? Actually, these non-compensations dimensions or components are providing your mental well-being, your mental well-being. We are providing, your organizations providing, employees are providing these things to satisfy your mental requirement. Enhance dignity and satisfaction from work or home. Enhance dignity and satisfaction from work. Therefore, these days we are discussing about job satisfaction of the employees. Give the good dignity, good respect to the other employees. Enhance physiological health, intellectual growth, and emotional maturity. Design jobs that require adequate attention. You already learned about the job design. When you are designing a job, you should have to be design that particular job, get more attention and more effort. Otherwise, no meaning of that particular job. If you have developed that particular job, the task of that particular job can maintain or conduct by any small children also, then no meaning to the older people. No meaning to older people to engage with that particular type of job. Give more little difficulties, but achievable component to the job. Promote constructive social relationship with colleagues. This is also most important. Researchers found that the productive employees are having good relationship with the supervisors, managers, as well as subordinates and other workers. Grant sufficient control over the job to meet personal demands. When you are able to manage your job-related things, you are going to be more happy about that particular job. Job characteristic model, you have to consider, you have to recall the job characteristic model. Oldham and Hackman proposed that particular model. Allocate sufficient resources to perform work assignment, offer support to leadership and management. These are some non-compensation components or dimensions. Through these compensations dimensions, we are able to satisfy our employees' mind. We can be fulfilled employees' mind-based needs. Then, therefore, we will think when we are developing any type of the compensation system, that particular system need to be addressed both financial and non-financial aspect. Okay. These are the explanation about that one. In here, you can see the global mobility program development of the international business. Yes, you can see first foreign operation, then local package, equity stake. The second, you can see few foreign operations not integrated, adolescents getting more growth, adventures staff, local plus package, equity and non-equity. In here, you can see local package only because this particular organization within that particular country. But when we are going abroad, when we are having some subsidiaries on the other countries, then we need to consider local plus package, local plus something. And also there is an equity and non-equity. I think sometimes you may have learned this particular equity theory, Adams equity theory in your HR. Did you learn about that one? Hello? Have you learned Adams equity theory? Hmm? No. Equity and equality is two things. Okay. Equity, actually, Adams discussed about the equity based on three group equity, individual equity, and remember that one, group, individual equity, group equity. Based on three factors, or four factors. Give me 1 minute. Check that one for you. Okay. Can you see my presentation? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, in here, equity means very simply we can say you are comparing your salaries or your benefits with the another employee. Another employee who is having similar qualification, who is doing similar job by using similar capacities. Otherwise, you are not going to be compare your salaries with the CEO. You are not going to compare your salaries with the driver. Based on that, you are considering equity of the compensation. When you are comparing your when you are comparing your salaries or benefits to measure equity, first you are selecting a person within the organization. Within the organization. Internal equity. Internal equity. Internal equity means what? You are selecting a person from your organization to compare your benefits with that particular person who is in the similar level, similar category, similar experience. Based on that, you are going to be calculate inequity or inequity or equity. Or you are unable to find a suitable person within your organization, then you are going to be compared your salaries or benefits by selecting a person from outside of the organization. We call that is external equity. External equity. That's when then you are going to be compare your benefits or salaries with a person who is working in the outside of your organization, who also in the similar position. who have similar experiences and experience. Then there's some other way you are going to be measure your equity of the benefits, group equity. Group equity. That means you are working with other people to achieve something. You will think about the group assignment. Mistakenly, we have given more marks to other people, not you. Then you are going to be asked why other people getting this much of the marks, but I didn't get that. I got only 3 marks or something. That's we call group equity. And individual equity. You are not going to be compare your benefits with the other people. You are going to be considered equity by considering your effort. I use this much of the day, this much of the hours, but they are paying less salary to me. That is individual equity. These are the 4 ways to measure equity based on the Adams theory. Individual equity, group equity, internal equity, and external equity. However, let me go to this one, let me go to this one. When we are having a foreign operation, sometimes we need to maintain equity and non-equity based on the country situation, based on the political situation, like that. Actually, when our business grow in international up to maturity, that means we have a more headquarters staff, and also we are replaced by that headquarters staff by using third country nationals and local nationals. Then we need to consider how much we need to pay these people. Then we can be used 2 ways, home-based one and balance sheet one. Later we will discuss. In that particular method, having a less equity focus. Then when we are developing our business to worldwide integration and planning, that means global organization, or up to transnational organizations, global talent sourcing with less emphasis on nationality, home-based balance sheet, globalist compensation approach, well-developed career planning, repatriation process. And okay, I think you can be understood that this is discussion about the growth, the stages of the international business. Based on that, we need to think our compensation policies, practices, and values. And also, today you can see our global workforce mobility is changing. Therefore, you should have to have a good global mindset. Career mobility, geographic mobility, position. Earlier, we can see people move one country to another country based on their experiences and jobs. Now also you can see Sri Lankan people are migrating to some other countries to do some jobs, to engage in some. Then geographic mobility. People move where the jobs are. Majority of the people are moving to Colombo, moving to Tokyo, moving to New York. Why? There are more jobs. There are more jobs. Position mobility. Now positions move where the talent is. When you have a talent, then that particular position, let me say CEO position, comes to you. Then you are going to be work from Sri Lanka by using new technology as a CEO, as a production manager, as a marketing manager, like. Now positions are moved from one country to another country. Therefore, still we can see these 3 ways of the mobility of the workforce. Career mobility, that people are moving another country to do that particular job. Geographic mobility, we are moving one place to another place. to do some work. And position mobility, positions move where the talent is. Then in here you can see how use of expatriates between 2000 to 2010, between that particular period, between that particular 10 years period. Western Europe in 2000 used 33% of expatriate, but it was reduced to 24% in 2010. 9% reductions. Asia Pacific increased 3% to 23%. Now you can understand what does mean it. Now, majority of the international business are established around this Asia Pacific region. And US, Canada, you can see expatriate reducing by 6% between 2000 and 2010. Japan, also you can see the reduction of the expatriate use. Latin America, just only 1% up. Africa, reducing, and Middle East also reducing. China, also not much change. Very simply, we can say now majority of the multinational of those business organizations are moving to Asia Pacific area. Asia Pacific area. However, when we are compensating these type of the mobile employees, HR, the finance or compensation managers need to raise some questions. What are the job levels of transfers? What is the nature and length of assignments? That means how many years they are going to be work over there. What is the economic level of the home country? What is the economic level of the assignment country? What are the cost differences between the two countries? What is the salary structure of the home country? How well do host peers tolerate pay disparities? For example, you are paying more salaries to the expatriate than your host country people, host country employees. Then are they going to be tolerate that kind of the pay disparities over there? Should a lower standard of living carry over an assignment? That's a consistent compensation approach for all expatriates matter. How many such transfers are you likely to have? Therefore, as a HR compensation manager, international compensation manager, actually you better to develop your compensation policies consistent with the overall strategy structure of the business. That means you better pay your attention about your overall strategic aspects of the organization. Second, you need to be develop those policies to attract and retain your staff in the multinational organization and motivate those employees to do their best to the organization. These are the most important. Attract the people, retain the people, motivate the people. These are the most important three factors. Therefore, you will to develop compensation policies with a very competitive and recognizing factors, including, for example, tax equalization, reimbursement, and some reasonable reimbursement for the reasonable cost and etc. And also your compensation policies should facilitate transfer of international employees between the countries in a very cost-effective manner. And also your compensation policies need to consider equity and administration, fair administration. These are the most important things. Otherwise, you are unable to maintain good employment environment, internal environment within your organization. Okay. Why we need to do that? Because employees also have some kind of expectation. You also have some kind of expectation, therefore you are going to work. You will think about what type of expectation you are having. Definitely, you may have financial protection in your life. Doesn't it? Financial protection. That salaries, that wages, that benefits need to be satisfied your basic needs. And also social security, including living costs. Doesn't it? If assigned to foreign assignment, then you are expecting more financial advancement through your income or service than you are working in local organizations or in your domestic organizations. Isn't it? Just as in that you are working in Sri Lanka now, they are going to be offered some kind of the position in UK, then you are expecting more financial benefits over there. Then you are expected to make some small savings over there than working in Sri Lanka. Therefore, they believe when they are going to be offered foreign employment, foreign engagement to you, they are given more salaries, more benefits than the domestic employment. And also, you are expecting some issues that like housing, education of the children, and some kind of the some other type of the expectation. For example, career advance, repatriation issues, and etc. Therefore, we need to be consider this every aspect of the international human resource management. The international human resource management. We are going to be develop or take an decision about the compensation to our international employees. In here, you can see some of the vocabularies: compensation, HRIS, HR information system, base salary, hardship premium, foreign service inducements, COLA, cost of living allowance, housing allowance, home level allowance, education allowances, relocation allowances, spouse assistance, balance sheet, going rate, and local plus approaches, tax equalization, tax protection, ad hoc and laissez-faire approaches, international base pay strategies. Introduction. Actually, just before I mention these things, global compensation managers increasingly deal with two areas of focus. They must manage highly complex and turbulent local details while concurrently building and maintaining a unified strategic pattern of compensation policies, practices, and values. In case of international human resources, you are not going to be managed only one subsidy. You may have 100 or 1,000 subsidies around the world. Therefore, you have to understand that particular compensation management is very complex, very dynamic. And also you need to maintain very good strategic pattern of compensation policy practices. Therefore, you need to be get about employment, taxation law, customs, environment, and employment practices of many foreign countries. Actually, when we are saying environment, you need to understand internal environment and external. Your organization, every organization has an internal environment. Internal environment, including skills, structure, staff, shared values, systems, strategies, and etc. That's the internal environment. And also external. External environment based on the politics, technology, economics, social, and etc. Familiarity with currency fluctuation and the effect of inflation on compensation. You better have a good understanding about what is the currency fluctuation, what is the dollar rate with Sri Lanka, so what is dollar rate with the Japanese yen, and etc. A good understanding of why and when special allowances must be supplied and which allowances are necessary in what country. Because we can be provide different allowances, housing allowances, education allowances, hardship allowances. But you need to have a good understanding about what type of allowances we need to be provided to our employees, which countries, which area. Later you can see when USA, when they assign in their army people to Middle East, they are having some different ratios based on that particular places, particular cities. Therefore, your compensation management or compensation overall strategies need to be satisfied your multinational business structures and business needs. Why? Then we can be attractive, retain our employees. Then we can be able to motivate our employees. And also, that particular compensation management policies, values, and practices need to be facilitated transfer of international employees from one country to another country by having a most cost-effective way. And also you need to pay your attention, equity and administrations. You are definitely, as we have mentioned before, you also expect in financial protection in terms of benefit, social security, and living cost in the foreign location. Not only foreign location, even within this domestic environment, also you are considering these things. Opportunities for financial advancement through income and also issues such as housing, education of children, and recreation to be addressed in the policy, career advancement, and representation. These are the most important expectation of the expected. Financial protection, financial advancement, and some kind of the solution to housing, education, and extra, and career advancement and prepare. For example, definitely, let me say in this way, you are now you are a deputy manager, production manager, deputy production manager, something. Then they have been assigned you to work in UK for 4 years period or 3 years period. Now you are going to be returned to Sri Lanka. Now again, you are not be happy to work as a deputy production manager. Because over there you have worked 4 years as a production manager or something. Career advancement and repatriation. And also you are expecting to one day you need to return to your home country. Actually, when we are discussing about our expatriate compensations, we can be used 3 approaches to compensate our expatriate. Going rate approach, balance sheet approach, and local plus. Local plus. Now we are going to learn about these 3 types of the approach. Going rate approach. What does it mean by going rate approach? Actually, going rate approach means you are going to be compensate your expatriate by using the rates available on those countries. For example, how much paid in India for a counter, then we are going to pay that particular amount. Very easy. If that particular in India, accountants are getting 300 rupees, Indian rupees or Sri Lankan rupees, whatever, 300 rupees, then we also going to be paid 300 rupees for our accountant. So our accountant will get that expatriate account. Expatriate account. Balance sheet approach. This is little difficult. For example, you would think about you are having some kind of the social standard in Sri Lanka. Then you are going to be work in UK. You need to be maintain very similar social standard over there. Then we are going to be your organization, your employee is going to be balance that particular life in UK as how much which type of the social standard you have balance in Sri Lanka. I think you didn't get that one. Let me say in this way. Later, actually, we will discuss this balance sheet approach by using graphic. You would think about the balance sheet of the accountants. Have you know what does mean by balance sheet in account? Balance sheet means what? Anyone can answer balance sheet? Anyone can? No. Sardar Ranaveer. Do you have any idea about balance sheet in accountancy? Anyone can say something about the balance sheet in
It's
accountancy?
a
Yeah. Yeah, please.
it's a kind of like a detailed sheet of company assets or liabilities in a specific point of time.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Actually, balance sheet is explicit the value between assets and liabilities. Always it's balanced. Ne? One side you can see the asset value, total value of the asset. Other side you can see total value of the liability. According to the principles of accountancy, finally there should be balance between assets and liabilities. Then, double entry bookkeeping based on the double entry bookkeeping. Finally, always your balance sheet need to be balanced. Balance between asset and liability or investment and assets or whatever. This same approach we are going to be used in here to compensate our expatriate. We are trying to balance local living standard in foreign countries by paying some allowances or by adding some financial elements. Then local plus. What does it mean by local plus? Local plus means we are paying some benefits or salaries or something in Sri Lanka. Then we are going to be add something to that particular amount in foreign country. Well, we are paid 100,000 rupees in Sri Lanka, but when you are going to be work in India, then we are paying 100,000 plus something. That is we call local plus. These are the three approaches available to our expatriate compensation. Going rate approach, that means we are paying host country payments to our expatriate. Balance sheet approach, we are trying to balance the payments between home country and host country. Local plus means what we are paying some money to our expatriate, adding something to our home country salary. This is we call local plus. I think you got these three. Is it okay? Didn't you understand these three type of the methods? Hello,
Yes, sir.
please let me know. Did you get these three types? Someone can say something? Did you
Yes,
get
sir.
the? Well, yeah, okay. Actually, later I will discuss more details of these three types of the approaches. But if you are able to get some kind of the gross idea of these things, it will help to our future discussion. Therefore, I ask, what are the most important key components of our international compensation? Base salary. So sometimes you are getting basic salary. Base salary. For example, you will think about your salary scale. It will start at 40,000 multiplied by 3 something, then plus something like that. Then 40,000 become your base salary. Foreign service inducement and hardship premium. We need to be motivate our employees to work in foreign countries. Then we need to give something to them. That is foreign service inducement. And also they need to be paid some kind of hardship when they are working over there. Example, when you are going to be assigned you to work in Middle East countries, then it's little hard. Then we need to be motivate our employees to do or get that particular job offer in that particular country. Therefore, we need to be paid some hardship premium based on base salary. Usually, we are calculating our these allowances or other things, incentives and everything based on the base salary, basic salary. Other than that, we can be provide allowances, whole cost of living allowances, housing, home leave, education, relocation, spouse assistance. That's when we need to be helped to find some jobs to the spouse, or we need to be provide some additional financial allowances when we are when our employees or expected might going to work with the spouse and etc. Some companies are paying some additional allowances for children allowances and etc. and other benefits. These are the most important key components of international base salary, foreign service inducement, hardship premium, allowances, and benefits. In here you can see base pay, then guaranteed cash. That means they are given some additional things to the our expect hardship allowances. Then short-term incentives, other benefits, and long-term incentives. This is become a total cash compensation. You would think about yourself. You are working in this particular one of the company in Sri Lanka. Then they are having some subsidies in the foreign countries. Then they are going to be assigned you to work over there. Then now you are getting 100,000 rupees. They are also now, even you are going to be get that particular job in foreign country, they are saying that we are going to pay 100,000 rupees. Do you like to go there? No. We need to give some additional salaries to you. Yeah. Then you can say, now we are getting 100,000 rupees. Okay, we are given 50 additional 50% to you. Okay, 150,000. And some allowances also they can be offered to you. Sometimes they may be offered some other benefits, vehicle, housing, and lodgings or whatever. Then this becomes your total cash compensation. You have to understand within this particular total cash compensation, some components are satisfied your physical need, some components are able to satisfy your mind-based need, some components are able to satisfy your emotional needs. Then we can be develop happy employee in our home. Happy employee in our organizations. Okay. Base salary. What does it mean by base salary? In a domestic context, base salary denotes the amount of cash compensation serving as a benchmark for other compensation elements. base salary. For example, we can say 40,000 rupees, 100,000 rupees, or like that. Based on that particular base salary, we are calculating other benefits of the available bonus, benefits, allowances, everything. Therefore, we can see majority of the expatriates allowances are directly related with the base salary. For example, foreign service premium, cost of living allowances, housing allowances, and spouse allowances, kids allowance, education allowance, and etc. Actually, this base salary is basis for service benefits and pension contribution also. It may be paid in home or local country currency. Some organizations are paying different methods. Actually, you are eligible to get your home salary in here, then they will remit or they will send that particular local salary to your bank account. Then you are getting some additional salary, additional financial benefits in that particular foreign country. In Sri Lanka, you are getting rupees, but in there, you are getting dollars. Especially for these type of jobs are available in Sri Lanka also. The technically capable people are eligible to get in this way. I have known one particular organization, they are hiring people in Sri Lankan context. When they have any job in the foreign countries, they are sending those people to work over there for 3 months, 6 months, or like that. Within that 3 or 6 months, those people are getting salaries over there from dollars. Meantime, they are eligible to get local salary to their accounts, bank accounts. The base salary is the foundation block for international compensation, whether the employer is a parent country national or third country national. Actually, this base salary is based on 2 parent countries. That means ethnocentric when we are using ethnocentric approach or third country nationals. Regiocentric or geocentric approach. Major differences can occur in the employee's package depending on whether the base salary is linked to the home country of the parent country nationals or third country nationals, or whether an international rate is. But this base salary can vary according to what type of base salary we are using. Are we going to be use parent country nationals base salary, or the third country nationals base salary, or international rate paid by the other organizations? Right? However, you got to understand base salary is most important. Our expatriates are compensated based, our expatriates are getting their additional income, additional allowances, other things based on this particular base salary. This base salary can be defined or decided by based on parent country national rates or the amount, or third country national amount, or based on international rate. Basically, we need to be paid salary premium or inducement to our parent country nationals. Sometimes, as we have just before mentioned, they may need to face some kind of hardship based on that particular transfer. However, you got to understand what does mean by hardship, what type of premiums they are eligible to get, and what type of amount we are going to be paid, when we are going to be paid that particular things to our employees. For example, US firms usually use that Department of State hardship post differential guidelines to determine an appropriate level of payments. I don't know. I don't know. Sri Lanka, do we have this kind of things? Hardship premium payments system or percentage. Our USA has. Basically, this foreign service inducement based on your base salary, that particular percentage between 5 to 40%. That particular percentage varied on your side. Actual hardship, tax consequences, and how many years you are going to be working in that particular country. However, parent country nationals are getting more hardship allowances than third country nationals. Okay. Then here you can see the USA Army guidelines for the hardship payments. When we are assigned a person, actually this based on the Army or military assignment details, when we are assigned a person to work in Afghanistan, in Kabul, then we are paying 35% additional to that particular person based on basic salary. When we have assigned a person to other places of the Afghanistan, at that time also we are paying 35%. We are the American, USA. When you assign a person for Angola, 25%, Angola, Algeria, 30%, Algiers, 25%. And when you assign a person to work Arctic Circle Force, then we are paying 25% and extra. Based on basics. If you are getting 100,000 rupees as a basic salary, out of that 100,000, you are eligible to go 25% additional if you are going to be work in Arctic Circle area. Like that. Hardship payment in Sri Lanka, I think in government service also paying this kind of thing. Hardship allowances to the people when they are going to be allocated or assign a person to work in the rural area. Hardship allowances. Definitely they may have that kind of a guideline. Then, however, you will understand when we assign a person to work in foreign countries, sometimes we need to give hardship allowances. Otherwise, we are unable to get assign or recruit or attract the people to work over there. And also allowances. We are having a different type of allowances to encourage or motivate our expatriate to get the position over there. Through those allowances, we are able to maintain similar living standard over other countries. But however, it's very difficult. Why? We need to be considered different type of allowances, cost of living allowance, housing allowance, relocation allowance, education allowances, home leave allowance, hardship allowances, and etc. Cost of living allowances are not similar in every country. Definitely, you will understand what are the minimum cost of living allowances in Sri Lanka. Do you have any idea how much we need to pay for our employees according to government regulations or government rules? What is the cost of living allowances we need to be paid in Sri Lanka? Anyone can say? How much we need to pay to our employees? Please understand these things. If you want to be a HR expert, you need to understand what is the minimum wage, how much we need to pay as a cost of living to our employees. Compulsorily, we need to be paid that one, that amount. Please, you better understand those things. Cost of living allowances. Why we need to pay cost of living allowance? Because we need to be match the similar cost of living like our home country to those people. Well, if you assign a person to work in USA, UK, their house rents is 3 or 4 times than Sri Lanka. And sometimes food's also expensive, like that. Therefore, we need to provide that amount, that kind of allowances to our expected, maintain similar living standard over there. Actually, this is not considering only about the foods or foods items. We are considering housing, other utilities, income tax, and etc. And also we need to be considered about the inflation and currency fluctuation, value of the currencies. Also to calculate cost of living allowances to our people. The basic objectives of this particular cost of living is that employees able to maintain their home country living standards in the foreign country. However, the comparison of the cost of living between the countries is more difficult. Japan cost of living is not similar like Australia. Australia is not similar like UK, like that. Okay. And also be able to provide some allowances to our expected when they are moving out from our country to another country. We call that relocation allowance. They are going to relocate to get that particular sign. Therefore, we will to cover moving, shipping, storage charges, temporary living expenses, subsidies regarding appliance or car purchase, and down payments or lease-related charges and everything. Actually, most of the ambassadors or embassy office people are getting these kind of things. They are getting relocation allowance. Our employees also eligible to get this one, relocation allowance, because we are assigning that person to work over there. He is not going to work over there based on his own intention. For example, other than those things, you will to consider allowances, car allowances, club membership allowances, servants allowances, and etc. And also, you will to understand these allowances also considered by the countries when they are calculating how much need to be paid that was expected as a tax. For example, in Sri Lanka these days, they are in when they are calculating income tax ratios, how much we need to pay as income tax, they are considering traveling expenses also as an income. When the government is reimbursed those things, that also considered as an income, like that. You have to understand how much paid you as an income tax. Do you have any idea how much you are paying for the government as an income tax, percentage. You are not paying. Who need to be paid income tax? What is the monthly income limit? Do you have any idea? Huh? Hello? Prasadi, do you pay in income tax from your salary? No. Anyone can answer me? That means you are not paying income tax, doesn't it? That means your salary is less than 100,000 rupees per month. Then you don't need to pay income tax. Am I correct? Taranga Valisundara, what do you think? Are you paying income tax? Okay, please understand how much you need to be paid as a salaries and etc. Okay, are you able to hear me? Hello?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then please understand how much you need to be paid, what is the percentage you need to be paid, and etc. Because if you are going to be work in the company as a HR manager, definitely you should have a good knowledge about these things. What is the percentage for the ETF? What is the percentage for employee provident fund, and everything you need to know, and you should have to aware about those legal requirements to be a good HR manager. Okay. And also we need to be provide some spouse assistance, allowances for spouse assistance. That means we need to be offset income lost by expected spouse as a result of relocating. Let me say that you are moving out from Sri Lanka to work in UK with your wife. Actually, wife was a teacher. But she also engaged with some kind of the work in Sri Lanka. But unfortunately, when she was moved out from Sri Lanka to with you, then it is very difficult to find a job over there. Therefore, your employer or your company need to be assured or that particular provide some kind of the allowances to offset that particular income. You are sometimes you earn 100,000 or 200,000 rupees, at least you are expected to get that much of the money from your company. Actually, not every companies are paying these type of things. Every companies are paying this kind of the allowances. But some companies are arranging some opportunities to work to your spouse in another company. Because some organizations are not willing to provide job opportunities for the husband and wife, both together. Instead of that, if that you are working in that particular organization, your spouse may able to get jobs from your employer. They propose, they are providing that particular opportunities to your spouse by discussing with some other organization. Instead of that particular help, your organization need to provide that particular opportunities to the spouses of that particular organization's expect. You can see in US firms are beginning to focus on providing spouses with employment opportunities abroad, either by offering job search assistance or employment in the firm's foreign office, subject to a work visa being available. Because sometimes when you are taking your husband or wife as a dependent or the dependent of you, some countries are not allowing to work over there under this particular dependent visa. They are to work over there, you need to get work visa. Otherwise, you are unable to do or engage in the work. For example, students, the students who is going from Sri Lanka to Australia or Japan, they are having those governments are allocating fixed times to work over there. For example, in Japan, only 20 hours per week. Australia, 30 hours per week, or like that. But their holidays, they can be worked more than 20 hours or 30 hours, like that. However, when we are discussing about the international human resource management, then your spouse, that's your husband or wife, also eligible to get some kind of the spouse allowances, or instead of that particular allowances, your organization may provide some job opportunities to your spouse. That can be happening. Then other than these things, you may be able to get some alternative allowances, such as housing alternatives, home leave alternatives, and some other things. I'm not going to discuss those kind of things. You will understand, you may eligible to get more allowances when you are going to be work in other countries as an expert, and benefits. In addition to these allowances or the basic salaries and wages, you are eligible to get some other benefits. For example, every year, end of the year, you are eligible to get some leave and go back to your home with airfares and everything are paid by that particular organization. Or you may be able to get rest and rehabilitation leaves. Sometimes emergency provisions, for example, a death or illness of your family members, then they will provide that airfare and leaves and etc. like that. Okay, then now we have discussed base salary plus allowances plus benefits. Okay, right. However, when we are concerning about the benefits, it is very difficult to deal with country to country, because those national practices are different. For example, transportability of pension plans, transferability of pension, medical coverage, social security benefits, and etc. Because the social security benefits percentage, how much you need to be contributed to social security benefits, pension schemes, or medical coverage is varies according to the countries. Actually, in the developed countries, most expensive things are the home. That means when you are going to rent a house, that's you need to be paid 1/3 of your salary, and medical facilities. You need to understand that. Therefore, our employer or our organizations need to be consider following things: whether or not to maintain expectations of home country benefit program, particularly if the firm does not receive tax deduction for it. When you are applying your home country benefit programs in the foreign country, you will think about is that particular government, foreign government, is providing tax deduction for that. If you are unable to get any tax consumptions from that particular country, don't decide to pay that particular local benefits over there. It is better to pay that amount in Sri Lanka. You will to remit that particular amount to your expected accounts. And also you will think about that your expectation is eligible to enter host country benefit programs because that can be only for the particular host country people. Host country. And also you will think about when we are providing any social security benefits, for example, pension, ETF, if those are the things we are considered as a social security benefits. Is that person is eligible to get home country or host country one, social security? You better understand most of the developed countries not much worrying about the social security benefits of the people. They paid more attention on the economic development. Now they are considering about the social security. Other than Eastern Europe countries, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, those countries are having good social security benefits. But the colonized countries started their economic journey by providing social security benefits to the people than the economic development, concerning the economic development. You better think about Sri Lanka. From the beginning, we have been provided social security programs to the people. Why? Majority of the people are poor after colonization. Therefore, our economic development delayed. Now we are paying about our attention on economic development. When we are paying our attention on economic development, that will reduce the social security benefits of the people. Therefore, we are going against the IMF proposals. Always they are asking to reduce social security benefits to the people and use those monies to the economic. But there's some reason why we are given more priority to the social security benefits than concerning economic development programs. And you can understand who need to be get that particular responsibility. Therefore, you have to understand the between the countries, those social benefits practices can be varied. Some expected cannot get benefit from the social security programs of that particular country. Therefore, you will to think as a international HR managers or multinational organization, you need to think about the retirement planning about the parent country nationals and other third country nationals, considering those factors. Planning for the retirement needs of their parent country nations. Then let me discuss about the going rate. Just before I discuss about 3 ways to compensate our international expatriate. One is going rate approach. The second one is balance sheet approach. Third one is local plus approach. Going rate approach. Actually, what does it mean by going rate approach? We are paying our expatriate based on local market rates. How we can be know how much we need to be paid for our approach? That is based on your survey. Survey. You need to be conducted survey about compensation survey. About what? How much get local people or cross country nationals over there. For example, you have been assigned a person to work as a production manager, then you better think, you better do a survey to understand how much get by that particular country's production manager in a similar capacity. Or you can get that particular hint from the expatriate of same nationality. For example, you can do a survey by getting a person from Sri Lankan expatriate who is working in another organization as a production manager. Or you can collect the data from all expatriates working over there as a production manager. Based on that, you can be decide how much we need to be paid for that particular production manager. Based on that, you can be decide base pay and other benefits, what other allowances and everything. But if you have been assigned a person to work in India, but our salary is less than the Indian salary, then you will think about something, how to compensate that one. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the going rate approach? What are the advantages? Equity within local nationals. You are going to be paid very similar salary like a local national, so host country national. Simplicity, very easily you can be calculate how much you need to be paid for that. Identification with host country, very similar with that particular host country payment. Equity among different nationalities. Even you are going to be hire a person as a production manager, as an accountant from different countries, but you are paying very similar amount to all those people. That means equity among different nationalities. However, there are disadvantages, variation between assignments for same employees. Variation between assignments for same. For example, you have been used that particular employee to work in India, paid 200,000. You have been assigned that person to work in UK, you need to pay 5,000 something. Based on the assignment, you need to be changed how much you need to be paid for that particular employee. Variation between expected of same nationality in different countries. Potential re-entry problems. This is another issue. When that particular expatriate going to be returned to home country, now you need to be think how much we need to pay for him or her when he or is returned to your home country. When he or she is re-entry to your country. That's the issue. Because in that particular country, or the foreign country, or those countries, you paid big salary, big amount to him or her than the local, your domestic rate. But after 3-5 years, they're going to be returned to your home, then you need to decide how much you should have to be paid for that particular person. That is also little difficult because you can't be paid that much of amount, but you have paid in that particular country to in your when they return to home country. The balance sheet approach. The basic objective is to keep the expected goal through maintenance of home country living standard plus finance and inducement to make the package attractive. You can be understood. You are going to be assigned a person from Sri Lanka to work with. In Sri Lanka, you pay 200,000, but you can't be paid 200,000 rupees in UK because by using that particular 200,000 rupees, value of the 200,000 rupees, that particular expatriate is unable to maintain living standard over there. Therefore, we need to be add something to that particular amount. Then how we can going to be do that? Home country pay and benefits are the foundation of this. We are going to be get our home country pays and benefits as a standard to balance it up. Then we are adding something to that particular home package by considering expenditure in host country. Just before I mentioned that you have paid 300,000 rupees Sri Lanka, including everything. And now he or she is working in UK. Now he or she need some additional money to maintain living standard, good living standard. Then we need to add something to that. Then we were to add some kind of incentives to attract our expatriates. For example, hardship premium or expatriate allowances or incentives, something to that particular thing. This is the majority of the multinational companies are using. Then what are the things we need to be considered? Items, goods and services, housing, income taxes, reserve. That means definitely they are expected to serve some money over there. For example, contribution to savings, payments for benefits, pension contribution, investment, education expenses, social security taxes, etc. Income tax, parent country and host country income tax. And sometimes when you are getting some salaries from Sri Lanka and salaries from other countries, then you need to pay income tax in the both countries. Housing, major cost associated with the housing industry. If you are going to be lease out or get a house in UK for a month, definitely you need to pay a small house, 1,000 pounds per month. In Japan, in Tokyo, you need to be paid 80,000 yen. All right. In Australia, definitely you need to pay $900 or $1,000 or more than that. A small house. Then, as a HR manager, or as a compensation manager of that particular multinational or global organizations, you need to be considered these factors, goods and services. Food, personal care, clothing, household furnishings, recreation, transportation, medical care, everything is included. Included medical insurance. And also you better understand major costs associated with the housing in the host country. Then more than Sri Lanka. In Japan, nearly 1/3 of the salary. In the USA, sorry, UK, also around 1/3 of the salary, monthly salary, like that. In here, you can see that particular philosophy of the balance sheet approach. Balance sheet approach. In here, you can see home country salary. Home country salary means the Sri Lanka. You would think now we are working in Sri Lanka. This is the home country salary. You need to save something. Then you need to buy and get services to satisfy your physical needs and housing also physical needs. And also you need to pay some money. Then we are assigning you to work in UK. The reserve cannot be changed. If you reserve 100,000 in that particular country also, you can be reserved 100,000. That's okay. Then goods and services. The prices of the goods and services are more than Sri Lanka. Therefore, we need to pay more amount of the money as a goods and services, and housing also same, and home and assignment location income tax. Income tax also can be higher than our Sri Lankan rates. And also sometimes they need to be paid salary taxes in home country as well as on that particular host country both. Considering that we need to pay some higher amount to satisfy that particular income tax needed. Did you understand this? Is it okay? Hello? Did you get this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then in here you can see these particular dotted areas is explaining additional cost paid by the employer. paid by the employer. For example, this income tax, blue color income tax, is very similar to the blue color income taxes of the home country. Like that. The housing area, blue color housing area, is very similar to the housing area of the local country, etc. But you can see some dotted area in here in third column. That is explaining about additional cost paid by the employer to our expected. Then finally, we can balance his revenues to revenues of the compensation to home country self. But however, other than that, we should have to be paid our expatriates by using some allowances and premiums and incentives, because now he is going to work in the foreign country. That part is here. That is the additional income. Then we can be motivated then we can attract then we can retain our expatriate over there. Okay, this is the story. Did you get this one? This is we call balance sheet. Why? We are trying to balance his salary in the assignment location on the host country with our home country salary, with some additional benefits. Did you get this one? Please, is there anyone who didn't understand this? Please ask for question. Or please tell me, then I will do again. I will explain that particular thing again. Is it okay? Oh, anyone didn't understand, please raise your hand. You can use that one also. No. May I assume that you all are having good understanding about this particular balance sheet approach? Is it okay? I can explain again and again. If you are getting a good understanding about this one, please inform me. You have good awareness about this particular balance sheet approach. Did you get good awareness about this balance sheet approach? How, Pugdu, do you have any issues about this particular thing? Shahira? Ms. Shahira Hasim, do you have any issues or any questions about this one?
No, sir.
Is it okay? Ne? You don't have any issue. Ne? How about the others? Okay. Then I assume that you all are having a good understanding about this balance sheet approach. Okay. Okay, I will go next. In here, you can see some expected compensation worksheet. For example, you can see employee Brian Smith, position marketing manager, country New Europea, reason for change, new assignment, and date from 2004. Then item base salary, amount, cost of living allowances, overseas service premium, a hardship allowance, housing deductions, tax deduction. Based then how we can be calculate COLA index, 150, exchange rate 1.5, and If you are paid in Australian dollars, you will pay this much of amount. If you are paid in local currency, then you need to pay this much of amount. Like that. Then you can be add some things for in here. In here, you can see overseas service premium 20%, hardship allowances 20%, housing deduction 7%. Means what? That housing allowances are paid, house rent is paid by the organization or the company. But some organizations are paying fully house rent on behalf of the expatriate. Some organizations are paying half of the house rent on behalf of the employer, etc. Okay. But however, in here, housing deduction, 7% deducted from the employee. Therefore, you can see 7%. Then tax deductions. Okay. For example, in here, you can see the expatriate working in the US branch. That means the US subsidiary is situated in some other countries. Then they are paying base pay is $1,400, housing up to $1,400 per month, itemized reimbursement $500, discretionary expenses for other expenses $1,000, benefits, Social Security and Medicare, it's optional, healthcare $200 per month, unemployment coverage, workers' compensation, and etc. A US expatriate working for a Chinese university, the employees who's coming from US to work in Chinese university, you can see base pay variation between 1,500 10,000 rupees per month. Housing also you can see 1,500 to 10,000 for a contract of 3 years or above. Benefits, pension coverage for a 5-year contract or paid at the option of the expatriate. Healthcare, you can see this kind of things. Okay. Then what are the advantages and disadvantages of the balance sheet? Advantages is equity between assigned, between expatriate of the same nation. Because we are paying very similar amount to our expatriate. That will help to maintain equity between assigned and also between expatriate of the same nationality. The expatriate who is coming from same nationality is getting very similar salary. Facilitate free entry. Because based on this balance sheet approach, we are paying very similar amount to our expatriate what he or she able to get in parent country. Therefore, they don't feel any big advantages by working in foreign country. Small additional amount they are eligible to get, but not much. Easy to communicate to employees. Then easily we can be explained to our employees. This is the way how we have been calculated your compensation package while you are working in foreign country. What are the disadvantages? Can result in great disparities between expatriate of different nationalities. That will cause to create big differences between people who assign as an expatriate to that particular country. For example, we would think about we have been assigned a person to work with it. Then one person come from Australia as an expatriate, one person come as an expatriate from Japan. Then now we need to be balanced the compensation. One employee balance between Sri Lanka and UK. Other person need to be balanced between UK and Japan. Other person we need to be balanced between UK and Australia. Then you can see that definitely that will create big differences between the expatriates. And also that will create big differences between expatriates and local nationals. Local nationals means host nationals. Can be complex to administer. It's very difficult to calculate how much we need to be paid for the expatriate who is coming from Sri Lanka, Japan, Nepal, or India, or whatever. Therefore, sometimes we are facing some difficulties to attract human capital or employees from different countries, because they are going to say our salaries are different, or it's not matching to our to maintain our cost of living over there, or something like that. Right? Then, however, you have to understand this particular way is one of the methods calculate our expatriate compensation of that particular. And also, there's another way to calculate or decide how much we need to be paid for our employees. That is a local plus sum. Local means how much we are paying in our parent country or home country. Then we are going to be add something to that. That is also you can be applied to or you can be used to pay your expatriates. Then these are the most of the important three ways to compensate our expatriate. I think you may. Do you have any issues about that? These three methods based on local market rates and balance sheet approach and local plus something. Is it okay? If it is okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Then again here you can see compensation approaches and strategies for long-term international assignments. Actually, in here first you can see policy name, full international. Full international. That means we are paying good salary considering every aspect of that particular expat. Why we need to do this? Develop our employee. Then in here you can see what are the content of this particular policy based on balance sheet app. This particular full international compensation package based on what balance sheet approach. Then you can see full bells and whistles. That means generous remuneration, including bonus and incentives and benefits, including cost of living, allowances, housing, education, spousal, car, home, leave, and club membership. Everything is there. This particular package is developing considering that our expected lifestyle didn't get any disadvantages as he assigned to that particular foreign country. Then purpose useful, targeted at executives for career development or on international track who possess universal skills and considered high potential. If we need to be develop our managers, then we will to apply this full international compensation package. Especially for the employees who is having a high performance. To develop. And also we can be use this one as a long-term strategic goal. Long-term strategic goal. That means, for example, we have discussed about the training and development. Development, especially for the executive people or managerial level people. Then in this particular package, we are using to develop our employees, develop our executive people in the long run. Then expect light. Expect light. This is the policy name. The strategy we use this particular package is to skills or secondment assignment. Skills development or secondment assignment. Especially we can use this expect light programs, the projects, the packages to expatriate who is having a very technical skills and competencies needed to work in other locations. Because we are expected to transfer that particular knowledge or skills to that particular country, people, within that particular duration. That means usually we are going to be assigned those people to particular fixed period. Within that fixed period, they need to be transferred that particular knowledge to some employees of the host country. Therefore, in this particular expect life package, sometimes we are designing with or without bonus or incentives. However, inclusion of some benefits, for example, housing, education, car, home view, but we are not including some other benefits to that particular package. For example, spousal allowances, cost of living, and like that. Therefore, we call that one as expect light. This is full international one. The full international one including everything based on the balance sheet approach. Every benefit, every allowances, every incentives included that. Basically, that is developed to considering our managers or executive development. But when we are going to be assigned a person who is having good technical skills or competencies, we need to be transfer those things to in other locations. At that time, we are using expect light. That is also based on the balance sheet approach. But however, in that particular package, we are not including some allowances and benefits. That's the difference between the full this one, full international. Local plus, just before I explain. Local. Local plus, we are using for cost service, reducing our cost. To reduce our cost, then we can be apply local plus package. Some based on going rate approach. That means getting the host country approach. Then additionally, we are including some something to our expected, like that. Not providing everything to them. Okay. Then, however, I think you may get some knowledge about the compensation packages and compensation method of the international human resource management. Do you have any issues or do you need to discuss anything from me before I am going to be stop this class today? Is it okay? May I stop the class today? Hello. Why you are not happy today? Pugudu, Jayamaha, may I stop the class? Do you have any issues? Sahira, may I stop the class today?
Okay, sir.
Okay, no issue. Okay. Thank you very much. Finally, I got the answer.
Thank you, sir.
Let me finish the class. Thank you very much for your participation and cooperation. Thank you. I will stop my class too. Okay, sorry. Before I finish this class, I need to share my PowerPoint presentation to you. Then I share. Let me do that one first before finishing my class today.